Everyone loves a good deal, and while it feels like they're definitely harder to come by these days, they can still be found, and Facebook Marketplace is no exception when it comes to some good potential deals. Honestly, the idea of Facebook Marketplace is kind of genius. Gather all the people who are bored and addicted to scrolling all day long, and get them to scroll and spend money. And what can I say? I'm one of those addicted scrollers, and I find myself browsing Marketplace at least once a day for stuff that I absolutely do not need. Normally I stick to window shopping, but the other morning I happened across this listing for a bunch of GPUs, and it immediately caught my eye because I could tell straight away there were a couple of really high-end mid-2000 gaming GPUs in this lot. And so after messaging the seller and finding out that he wanted 120 for all the GPUs, and also that they worked when last used. Yeah, famous last words. I've heard that a million times. I hesitated, but ultimately decided I wanted to take the risk, and I gave him an offer that he ultimately ended up accepting. And now, for 100 Canadian dollars, I'm the proud owner of 7 somewhat mysterious but definitely alluring and untested GPUs, all from around 2006 to 2007. The question that remains to be answered, though, is simply, was it worth it? So this is the haul. This is what $100 gets you. Now, I have gone over and looked over some of the cards, and I would say 2 of them seem to be okay. The rest need some attention. Let's talk about that. Particularly the 8800 GTX is not looking too good. I don't even know if I'll be able to fix this card. There are some components that are missing, but the most alarming one seems to be right around right here. It looks like these solder pads have been ripped clean off. We will start by testing what seems to be okay. Here's another example. Something happened to this mystery card. I don't know what this one is. It's a Dell card of some sort. There's some weirdness going on there. I can see some flux there. That's a little bit concerning. What happened to this card in its past life? I don't know. What kind of card is it? Probably a sister or distant relative of this GTX 260 over here, which I believe also has some missing components on it. Let's take a quick look. Definitely got some very obviously missing components right here. The real star of the show here is this GPU. Nah, I'm just kidding. Here's another one that I really was excited for. One of the more cool ones in this lot. Unfortunately, it's missing a bunch of components as well. Some of them are starting to come off. You can see right here. Again, very common spot, I guess, for these things to come off. But there's a few more that are knocked off or missing. For example, C209 over here. Where is it? C209 is knocked off. So we're missing some components on this guy for sure. The X1900 XT seems to be okay. This card seems to be alright. Nothing seems to be missing from it. So I'm excited to plug it in and see what it does. But if we take a preliminary glance here, everything seems to be there, which is really, really good news. And by far the most exciting GPU of this entire lot, thankfully, from what I can tell, also seems to be okay as well. And that is the X1950 XTX. Wow, what an awesome card. Very, very cool. I really hope this one works. This is the reason why I wanted this lot, because this thing is so cool, and if it works, it's going to be perfect in one of my builds. But either way, we're $100 into this mess at this point, and the point isn't exactly to make money, but if I could maybe somehow sell a couple things that I don't really care as much about and make back most or all of the money, then that means I would basically get, you know, a couple of cards, mainly these 3 here, that are really cool to me for nothing, basically, for the cost of gas. And that's about it. Here we have the test bench. It's just a simple AM2 Enforce board with an Athlon 64X2 5200, I believe, and 2 gigs of RAM. Nothing fancy, nothing special. We're not looking to check out the performance. We just want to make sure that these cards boot to Windows without any artifacting, and then can pass a 3D Mark benchmark. That's all we care about.
あなたに私は倒せない。
So, of the 7 GPUs, only 2 are working. Can we even count the 7300G actually? It's like a toaster GPU, but it is technically useful for me. Actually, I want to use it in the test bench build that we used in the video. Somehow the one I wanted the most, the X1950 XTX, came out as a successful repair, but all the other cards were beyond repair, or at least for my abilities. Personally, I would say this was not worth it, and that's just the reality of buying junk sometimes. You get lucky, but other times you get actual trashed items. The biggest mistake I made here, I feel like, was offering a little too close to asking price. With some more negotiating, I probably could have actually gotten a bit better of a price, especially since the seller seemed very keen to get rid of all this. I wonder why. Sure, the X1950 XTX is definitely worth about $100 or so, but I was really hoping to also have the 3870 as well. To add to that, I was also hoping to sell off the GTX 260 and 8800 GTX to recoup some of the costs and basically be into an X1950 XTX and an HD 3870 for very cheap. So when buying bulk parts like GPUs as is, be sure to assess the risk and reward ahead of time. Not everyone is going to entertain you looking all over parts before you buy it, let alone even testing everything just for you. I like to think of it this way. If the worst item in the lot were to work, would it be close in value to what I paid? Furthermore, would it be something that I could use, or would it be useless to me? And always remember to talk down the price if it seems too high. Don't be afraid to negotiate. I wanted an X1950 XTX, but not badly enough to pay eBay prices. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining. Leave a like if you did. Leave a dislike if you thought my soldering skills suck or my repair skills are even worse. And I'll see you in the next video. I've literally just finished putting together this video, and as I was going through the footage and editing stuff, I was a little bit disappointed in myself when it came to the HD 3870. I felt like we were so close to getting it working. It was just that one missing capacitor that took off a pad with it that was stopping us. And since I was able to tap into a trace and fix the X1950 XTX, I thought maybe I could try and do the same for this capacitor for one of the memory chips on the HD 3870. So coming back to the 3870 after a couple days of just taking a break from this stuff, I was able to locate the trace that was connected to the pad that got ripped off. That was my biggest problem. I could not find that trace, but I did manage to notice it. So I ended up scraping off the trace and tinning it and taking a donor cap from the dead GTX 260, as you can see. And yeah, I soldered it on an angle. It's not pretty, but obviously it's working. Now ATI Tray Tools still causes a BSOD, so I'm gonna assume that's a driver problem, but as you can tell, we're running through 3D Mark right now. 0 problems whatsoever, so it's looking like we actually got a third GPU out of this lot. So I've already written the script and said everything that I said. I don't want to go back and edit things even more, but I leave you on this note. What do you think? Do you think it was worth it now that I have 3 working GPUs? Let me know in the comments section below.